Welcome back with a smiley face. A link is provided in the video description for previous episodes. Giving up on the Alpha. Episode 8. Chapter 75. Liana POV. Adamantly I march to the coffee shop. I need to distance myself from the situation before I do or say something I regret later. I meant it when I told Axel I believed him. He has proven himself to me over the months. But my blood is boiling, and my fingers are itching for Angela's throat. Taking it out on Axel would be unfair. I pick out 2 slices of cheesecake, one for me and one for Wolfie. That is what I have decided to call our baby for now. 1. Because he is a wolf, and 2. It is because of him that I am hungry like a wolf. Constantly. I close my eyes in ecstasy when the first sugary bite hits my taste buds. Now, this is what I needed. At least I do not have to worry about my figure. Wolfie takes care of that. Nice meeting you here. I open my eyes in surprise and look up at a grinning Luther. May I join you? He asks politely. You may sit, but you're not touching this. I point to the cheesecake, and he bursts out laughing. I wouldn't dream of it. He sits down. What are you doing here? You mean besides the obvious? I raise my eyebrows. I work across the street, remember? I'm either taking a late tea break or an early lunch. What are you doing here? I saw you cross the street and decided to follow you, he admits sheepishly. It feels like I haven't seen you in years. Oh, please, I take another bite. You saw me last night at class. That's not the same or what I meant, and you know it. His voice is soft and smooth as he looks at me longingly. If you weren't responding to my texts, I would have thought you were ignoring me. Not this again, I groan and shift uncomfortably in my chair. I wish I could tell him Axel is my mate, but I cannot risk it. Axel and I agreed to keep it to ourselves until he could talk to Angela. We've been over this, Luther, you're wasting your time with me. I'm in love with another man. But does he deserve you? Luther hisses urgently. If he appreciated and understood you, he'd rush you down the aisle. He does love me. I push my cheesecake aside. Luther has spoiled it for me. Things are a little complicated, but we're working on it. That's the thing, Luther insists. With me, it won't be complicated. I will propose to you here right now if you allow me. Even if I'm pregnant with another man's child. I blurt out before I can stop myself. Are you? He gapes at me before he pulls himself together. Yes, Liana. Even then. Just say the word. I'll be happy to be the father. You're sweet, I smile and squeeze his hand. But I'm not your mate, Luther. One day you'll meet her and then everything will change for you. Liana, I'm serious, he clamps my hand tightly. Marry me, please. Baby and all. I'm not pregnant, I pull my hand free and stand up. I said it to discourage you from pursuing me. I'm sorry, Luther, but we cannot be friends any longer. Not if you feel like this. It would be unfair to both of us. As long as we're friends, you're going to hope, and I will be in this awkward position to shoot you down every time. Liana, please give me a chance, he begs as he gets up. Goodbye, Luther, I say sadly and turn around. Liana, he grabs my wrist and swings me around. But before I can say anything, his lips are on mine. Warm, soft, and urgent. It is so unexpected that I cannot move, but the numbness subsides quickly, and I shove him away with all my might. If you ever touch me again, I will kill you, I hiss as I swing around and head for the door. Liana, wait, Luther calls desperately. Axel POV. I watch the door close behind Liana and I slump down in the closest chair. My mind is trying to make sense of everything that just occurred. Coming home to Liana was the highlight of my day, and then I did not even get the chance to say hello. Let alone hold her. Why is Angela here? And why would she discuss her so-called with my personnel? I know I am at fault for not telling Liana about that night sooner. I deliberately avoided it because it is not something I want to remember. Honestly, there is never a good time to tell her about it. And it is not something you casually ease into a conversation. With everything Liana endured lately, I simply did not have the guts to tell her. Liana has every right to break my neck for this, and I am surprised she has not. I am not sure if this is the silence before the storm or if she genuinely believes me. The past 2 weeks we talked endlessly. For hours I listened to her childhood, her fears, her pain. I understand her so much better. Her family depended on her and at the same time made her feel worthless. Wyatt's infidelity only contributed to that. The fact that she told me she loves me, is a miracle. I did not touch Angela because I wanted to. For me it was self-defense. But I was afraid if I told Liana about it, all her feelings of being worthless would resurface. It is still not an excuse for my silence. As furious as I am at Angela, I must blame myself. I could have been ahead of this if I manned up and told her about it. I need to get out of here, I decide as I stand up. I will give Liana all the time she needs, but I sure do not want to be here when Angela returns. Hastily I walk to the coffee shop to tell Liana that I will be hiding out at the gym. That would be the last place Angela will come looking for me. A sharp pain radiates through my chest as I step into the coffee shop. Frowning, I grab my chest and take deep breath. Am I having a heart attack? What? I look up and stammer backwards when I watch in horror how a man kisses Liana. This is no heart attack, I realize, this is the mate bond. Instantly I am furious, but before I can react, Liana shoves the man aside and a deadly calmness settles in me as the pain subsides. I am going to kill that bastard. Liana walks towards the exit and she stops dead in her tracks as her eyes widen when she sees me. Our eyes lock and we stare at each other. Liana, wait, the man calls, and I look at him. Luther? He notices me and frowns as he looks from me to Liana before he walks our way. That's L.C., my voice is deceitfully calm. Luther Collins. Why, yes, she stutters. Do you know him? I came here to tell you I'll be at the gym until you're ready to leave, I say as I fight my anger and jealousy. I needed her to know that I was giving her the space she wanted and that I was not checking up on her. Hello, Axel, Luther greets as he crosses his arms in front of his chest. You know each other? Liana asks flabbergasted. Yes, I grunt as I put my balled fists into my pockets before I punch him out. Is this him? Luther asks Liana, but he does not take his eyes off me. The man that doesn't want to marry you. Watch yourself, I warn Luther with a low growl. I never said that, Liana protests indignantly. You might as well have, Luther smirks. Since he's already engaged to Angela. I am on the verge of smacking that grin off Luther's face when Liana rests her hand on my chest and looks up at me. Let's go, she says softly. I look at Luther for a moment before I put my arm around Liana's shoulders and together, we walk outside. Liana, Luther yells as he runs after us. Furiously I swing around and glare at him. Don't push it, Luther, I hiss. Walk away. Axel, he sneers. I'm not going to idly stand by and watch you use her while you're engaged just because you're the alpha. Unlike you, I love her. I completely lose my temper and my fist connects hard with his jaw. Luther stammers backwards, but he regains control. He wipes the blood off the corner of his mouth as he looks at me. Nice, he smirks. Why don't we take it somewhere safe? I don't want Liana to see how I rip your head off. You don't need to invite me twice, I glare at him. Enough, Liana hisses. People are watching. This is not happening, not here or anywhere else. Not before you listen to what I have to say, Luther looks at her. You're blinded by the almighty alpha, but, stop it, Luther, Liana walks towards him. You're not listening to me. I've told you no over and over. I love him. My heart swells with pride and joy when she announces her feelings so openly. You heard her. I go stand next to Liana and pull her against my side. She made her choice. Accept it like a man. He's going to break your heart. Luther ignores me and looks at Liana with hurt in his eyes. And when he does, I will be there for you. Don't forget that. I'm sorry, Liana whispers and Luther nods before he turns around and walks away. Are you okay? I ask softly as I turn her to face me. No, she mumbles. I feel terrible. He's a good guy, and I didn't want to hurt him. I know, I pull her into my embrace. And he will understand once he learns you're my mate. How do you know Luther? Liana looks curiously at me. He's my cousin, I sigh. Liana POV. It is silent in the car as we drive to our destination. Axel did not want to tell me where we were going because he wanted to surprise me. But after the altercation at the coffee shop, I simply do not care. I feel terrible for hurting Luther, but I am also furious at him for kissing me and not accepting my decision. I will have to quit my studies. I was going to anyway because of my pregnancy, but now I must do it sooner. To make things worse, he is Axel's cousin. That was a shocker. It means that we are bound to bump into each other from time to time. I do not want the awkwardness that comes with a mess like this. We should talk about Angela. I break the silence as the sun starts disappearing on the horizon. And Luther, Axel adds. There's not much more to say about him, I shrug. Nothing happened between us. But he refuses to accept it. You were there. But he kissed you. Axel's fingers cramp around the steering wheel and I know he is fighting his anger. For the first and last time, I sigh. Unless he locks you up in a freezer to die, there's nothing to talk about. I still want to kick his ass, Axel growls. I know the feeling, baby, I mockingly mimic Angela's voice and Axel groans in agony. Promise me one thing, he turns to look at me. Promise me you'll never call me babe or baby. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this, I laugh, and he gives me a deathly glare. Joking aside, I swallow my laughter. What are you going to do about her? I'm going to tell her you're my mate and that the wedding is off, he replies nonchalantly. Her father and I have a meeting and I will do it then. I don't need his business anymore and he can't use it to manipulate me any longer. Regarding her punishment for trying to kill you, well, you should have a say in it, because I still want to kill her. I do not respond as I keep my eyes on the road. What Angela did was despicable, but I cannot bring myself to be her executioner. I know it is their laws, but I have not fully adapted to their rules. Growing up with Leon, I am in the habit of letting things go. That is not something you change overnight. I am going to need more time to rewire myself and stand up for what is right. Where are we going? I change the subject. I rented a house on a private beach, he replies. Nobody will find us there or disturb us. I hope there's food, I sigh. I'm starving. There will be plenty, he chuckles. Curiously I look at the house as I get out of the car. From this angle, it is nothing but white walls, but when Axel unlocks the door and stands aside so that I can walk inside, I change my mind. Now this I can call home, I sigh dreamily as I walk to the ceiling-to-floor windows facing the ocean. Axel does not say a word as he opens the sliding doors and I walk onto the deck as I inhale the salty air deeply. I turn towards the house and admire the open spaces and soft lighting. Big comfortable couches face a fireplace with an open-plan kitchen and dining room in the back. This place is to die for. I want to come back here in a couple of years, I decide. I can already see myself preparing lunch while keeping an eye on Wolfie as he plays in the sand. This is perfect, Axel, I drape my arms around his neck and kiss him. There's more, he takes my hand and leads me up the stairs to a huge bedroom. A huge bed in the center of the room is facing the ocean. The balcony doors are open, and the light breeze playfully lifts the curtains. It's so beautiful and serene, I whisper in awe as I walk onto the balcony and admire the ocean. I'm glad you like it, Axel's arms go around my waist, and I turn to face him. And it's ours for the entire weekend. Perfect, I whisper before wrapping my arms around his neck. We're going to need every second to make up for the past 2 weeks. Sounds promising, he leans over, and I sigh contentedly as he kisses my neck. But I recall that you said you're hungry. We can eat in bed, I push closer to him. Afterwards, I take his face between my hands and kiss him with every inch of bottled-up desire. 2 weeks were too long and I am burning for him. Everything else can wait. He picks me up and I wrap my legs around his waist as he carries me to the king-size bed. The linen is soft and inviting against my back as he lays me down and positions himself next to me. Eagerly I reach down to undo his pants, but he grabs my hand and stops me. We should talk, he kisses me deeply. Once our clothes are off, I'm not planning to get dressed again. So, as much as I want to continue with this, he trails a finger down my neck to my cleavage and I shiver delightfully. I need to explain what happened with Angela. Damn it, I groan and close my eyes. You certainly know how to kill a mood. I'm sorry, but, I know, I sigh as I push him off me and sit up. And you're right. But it's so frustrating that she still has the power to spoil things even when she's miles away. I should have told you sooner, he sighs. No, I shake my head as I stand up and straddle his lap. I wasn't ready to hear it sooner. Sooner I was too insecure, and I would have freaked out. And you're not going to freak out now. He raises his eyebrows. I don't know, I shrug as I run my fingers through his hair. But I know I won't run away, and before that was an option. Okay, he takes a deep breath as he places his hands on my hips. But you must know I never meant for it to happen or go so far. I believe you, I smile as I toy with his hair. It happened the night I asked her to marry me, his voice is a soft monotone as he tells me. The more he talks the angrier I get. Liana, he clears his throat after he confesses everything. You're pulling my hair. I inhale deeply as I loosen my grip and get off his lap. Are you okay? He asks cautiously as I pace up and down in the room. I'm going to rip it out, I hiss furiously as I turn to face him. I'm going to rip out her clitoris. I don't care that she tried to kill me, but this. I throw my hands up in the air and breathe deeply through my nose. Reverse the roles, Axel, my voice is calmer, but my blood is still boiling. If a man did that to a woman, it would be assault. Technically she tried to rape you. I swear to the goddess, I'm going to rip it out. Maybe we should get something to eat or drink. Axel walks to me and takes my hand. Give you a moment to calm down. I don't want to calm down. I shout furiously. I want her to pay. So do I, Axel replies. For trying to kill you. When I picked up your cold body, I swore I would kill her. Kill her? I snort. No way you're killing her. She'll be dead and I want her to feel. I want her to experience all this anger, resentment, and pain I'm feeling. You taught me there's mercy in death and she doesn't deserve any. Okay, that's it, Axel takes my hand and leads me out of the room. I'm going to feed you now. We're not making any decisions while you're this angry. Oh, but it's fine for you to do it, I protest as I follow him. I have no desire to calm down, but I am hungry. I said he gently pushes me into a chair and opens the fridge. We're not making any decisions. I want to kill, and you want revenge. So, we need to agree on what to do with her. Fine, I sigh and squint my eyes as he takes out a packet of hot dogs. Is that what you're going to make? What? He gives me a pained look. I'm the alpha, I can't cook. Tragically, I must agree, I snort as I stand up and walk to the fridge. I'll do it. But, I'm not being mean, I pick a packet of pork sausages, potatoes, and peas. I appreciate your effort, but a nice place like this deserves more than hot dogs. I should have arranged a chef, Axel mumbles sheepishly. You can start peeling these. I hand him the potatoes. I'll start with the peas. I bite hard onto my bottom lip to keep myself from smiling as Axel peels the potatoes with tremendous concentration. He is so darn cute to me at this moment, and I am overjoyed that he is my mate. Which infuriates me more because Angela dared touch what is mine. We shouldn't kill her, I say softly as I take the peeled potatoes and cut them into cubes. Liana, Axel sighs pleadingly. I'm not saying it out of anger, I say hastily. Don't get me wrong, I'm still angry, but that's not why I'm saying it. But she's not a pack member and killing her wouldn't be as straightforward. You'll have her parents to deal with, and without concrete proof, they can retaliate and accuse you of murder. I don't want to lose you, and neither do I want us to go through worrying about her family's accusations. Killing her is going to ruin us and she's not worth it. But Angela would want revenge, Axel sounds worried. When I break the engagement, she will come after you and I refuse to lose you. Not if you do it right and play the mate card, I turn and smile at him. Call a meeting with her and her parents. Apologize for breaking the engagement because you found your mate. It's your law, they have no choice but to respect it, even if they hate it. And if Angela acts out after that, her parents cannot blame you. You're wise for a human, Axel grins as he puts his arms around my waist. And it would do you good to remember that. I wrap my arms around his neck and pull his lips to mine. Axel POV, something's burning, I murmur against her lips. Oh, crap, she quickly lets go of me and turns to the stove. The mash is ruined. I'll get rid of it, I take the pot off the stove and place it in the sink. And I'll start peeling again. We should have stuck with your hot dogs, Liana sighs as she looks at the peas and sausages. Are those burned as well? I ask as I peek over her shoulder. No, it's fine, she replies, but I can tell she is upset. But by the time the second attempt of the mash is done, these will be cold. And it's not going to be the same if we reheat it. Hey, there's no need to be upset, I place my hands on her shoulders and turn her to face me. It's okay. We have all the time in the world. Besides, I'm not here for the food. I'm not upset, I'm disappointed, she sighs as she fills 2 plates with sausages and peas. Today was going to be my perfect day and so far the universe has done its best to ruin it. Angela, Luther, and now burned mash. I think it's perfect, I give her a big smile before taking a bite of the sausage and she glares at me. It's way less pressure on me. What are you talking about? She rolls her eyes. Think about it, I grin. If the day was perfect, I had to step up my game tonight. Now I don't have to worry about bringing my A game. It's an easy win for me. Is that so? She pouts and raises her eyebrows. And now I must settle for mediocre. I am about to defend myself when I notice the twitch at the corner of her mouth, and I relax. Liana is on the verge of smiling and I am glad she is not upset anymore. I have seen her angry before but never like today. Honestly, it scared me a little. I was afraid she might have a stroke or something. I do not know what happened or when it happened, but there is a change in Liana. Not that I am complaining. I love the new fight she has in her, but her anger is startling. 2 weeks ago, she was lecturing me on the value of life and now she wants to mutilate Angela. I am no psychiatrist, but my money is on her childhood. She carried a lot of anger and resentment towards her family and now that the ties are cut, all of it is bubbling out of her. The only reason I am not worried is because she does not act on it. Once she calmed down, she was reasonable, which is an excellent trait for Luna. However, the heavens must help the creature that crosses her. I'll clean up, I offer when she places her knife and fork down. That's the rule, right? You cook, I clean. Thank you, she pecks me on the cheek. In all fairness, I should clean because I burnt and did not cook, but I'm selfishly going to take advantage of your good heart and go take a shower. We'll let it slide this time because you had a rough day, I snort and smile as she walks towards the stairs. I look down on my wet shirt. My upbringing as an alpha is evident. You are not supposed to be wet after doing the dishes. I pull my shirt over my head and walk towards the bedroom. I hope Liana is still in the shower, then I can join her. But I stop dead in my tracks when I reach the bedroom door. Liana is standing on the balcony, her hair shimmering in the moonlight as she stares at the ocean. She is wearing a white negligee. A very short, soft, seductive, and see-through negligee, and my erection is growing painfully hard. I have never seen so much beauty and perfection. The best part is, she is mine. My shirt drops out of my numb fingers as I walk towards her. She looks up smiling at me when I stand next to her and my heart stops. Is something wrong? She asks when I do not say a word and only stare in awe like an imbecile. I had so many ideas, my voice is a mere whisper as I place my hand against her cheek. But nothing compares to this moment. This moment is perfect, you're perfect. I'm hardly perfect, she looks down self-consciously and intertwines her fingers. To me, you are, I whisper as I place my finger underneath her chin to raise her face. Even your flaws are perfect to me. I love everything about you, even when we fight. I will happily eat burned mashed potatoes for the rest of my life if it means I spend it with you. I love you, she smiles emotionally as she places her hand over mine. I want to be more than your mate, I take her hands into mine as I kneel in front of her. I want to be your husband. Please marry me. Liana POV. I look at Axel as his words create havoc inside me. I did not expect this. Sure, one day but not today. I have been sleeping with him for months, but technically we are only a couple for 2 weeks. Not that it matters, I already committed to him as my mate. But I am human, and a proposal means the world to me. I would love that. I clear my throat from the annoying tears as my emotions overwhelm me. More than anything in the world. Or wait, I love you more than anything, but this is, I do not get any further than that because Axel jumps up and smothers my words. My arms go around his neck, and I cling to him for dear life as he hungrily kisses me. With ease, he picks me up and carries me to the deck chair. The wood is cold and hard against my skin as he puts me down and takes off his pants. His erection is hard and ready as he kneels in front of me. I love you, he whispers as he kisses me on my knee. Every inch of you, he reaches underneath my negligee and slowly pulls down my thong. And now you gave me the pleasure of a lifetime to prove it to you, he removes my negligee. He leans forward and creates a hot trail of heat as he kisses me from my knee, over my stomach up to my breasts. Ah, yes, I moan when he takes my nipple into his mouth. More, I beg as I take his hand and place it on my other breast. My breasts are painfully sensitive because of the pregnancy and his touch is overwhelmingly satisfying. The sensation of the cool night air following his warm kisses on my skin is mind-blowing and it is getting harder and harder to keep my composure. I cannot wait to mark you, he murmurs against my breasts. I want the entire world to know that you're mine. Then do it, I pant. I want you to. Axel pulls me to my feet when he stands up and I moan in delight when the warmth of his chest pushes against my breasts. His lips come crashing down on mine with such force that I must cling to his arms to keep my balance. I have never yearned for him as much as I do at this very moment. He gathers me in his arms, and I sigh content as his body heat engulfs me. I wrap my arms around his neck and kiss him passionately. Effortlessly he picks me up and goes sit on the deck chair with me on his lap. What are you doing? I pant as he turns me around so that my back rests against his chest. In answer, he gently bundles my hair in his fist and moves it sideways for his lips to caress my neck. A shockwave jolts through me when his teeth graze the spot where he will mark me. Sensually he glides his hand over my breasts, down my stomach to my center and starts pleasing me. I moan softly in delight as I lay back against his chest and move my hand along his arm downwards. He groans as I start stroking him. Desire tightens my muscles, and my breathing gets heavier until I cannot hold it any longer. I lift my hips and lean forward slightly before I lower myself onto him. Oh, dear goddess, I sigh in delight as he fills me. Gently I rock back and forth as I appreciate every inch of him. His hand covers my breast as the other one folds around my throat, and he pulls me closer to his chest. His breath is warm in my neck and my entire body is in sensory overload. His lips are caressing my neck and I bite my bottom lip to not make a sound. I am so close to release. Liana, he nibbles on my ear as he keeps his pace thrusting into me. This is going to hurt a little. I want to reply, but my need for him is too great. The noise from the ocean starts to fade away as I near sweet release. Just as I am about to climax, he sinks his teeth into my neck and marks me. The exquisite mixture of pain and pleasure is so overwhelming that I cannot help myself from crying out, and Axel stops thrusting into me. My breathing is hard and irregular by the time I come from my high. Are you okay? Axel murmurs and licks my brand new mark. More than, I sigh content as I get off his lap and turn around to face him. I straddle him and kiss him passionately as I lower myself once more onto him. But I want more. Nothing would please me more, he grunts as he grabs my hips and increases his speed. He gasps for air when I suck on his mark. I can feel his body tense more and more with every thrust. To my own surprise, my climax is building fast and rapidly. I close my eyes and my head falls backwards as my orgasm builds up. He groans hard and his body starts jerking just as I climax. His arms are steel clamps as he pulls me impossibly close to his chest. I love you so much, he mumbles in my neck. I know the feeling, I sigh as I pull back to cup his face and tenderly kiss him. Liana POV. I take only a second to admire my sleeping mate and fiancé before I quietly sneak out of bed. I pull a robe over my naked body before I walk to the kitchen to make breakfast. I am jittery all over as I fry the bacon. I cannot wait any longer, I am dying to tell him about the pregnancy. I might spontaneously combust if I do not share the news with him. Last night. I sigh dreamily as I touch my mark. Well, the day might not have lived up to my expectations, but it ended splendidly. My life is perfect, I smile as I arrange the plate and juice on the tray. Axel has marked me, and no one will ever come between us again. I never knew I could be this happy, I grin as I pick up the tray and walk to the room. Axel POV. I wake up in an empty bed and instantly I am worried. What if last night was too overwhelming for her? Michelle might have cleared her, but what if she was not ready? I am about to jump out of bed when Liana enters the room. Oh, no, she pouts and puts the tray on my lap. I wanted to surprise you. Believe me, this is a surprise, I grin and pat next to me. Join me. Obviously, she rolls her eyes and sits down next to me. You'll get fat if you eat all of that by yourself. But you'll still love me, I laugh as I bite into a piece of bacon. Yes, I will, she replies while eating a slice of toast. But I'm going to miss your six-pack. Miss Erickson, I pretentiously gasp for air. Are you using me for my body? Among other things, she wiggles her eyebrows and I laugh joyously as I lean over and kiss her. I have something for you, she announces as she takes away the empty tray and puts it down on the dresser. So do I jump out of bed and walk to my bag. Okay, you first, she sits down on the bed and clings to a wrapped gift. I was supposed to give it to you last night, but I got ahead of myself. I grin sheepishly as I sit next to her and open the ring box. Wow, her eyes widen as she carefully takes out the ring. This is gorgeous. You sound surprised, I take the ring and place it on her finger. Can you blame me? She lifts her hand and admires the ring. After the hideous monstrosity you gave Angela. The ring should match the woman, I smile deviously as I push her back on the bed and claim her delicious lips. Smooth, Mr. Silverman, she whispers hoarsely as I undo her gown and push it aside to expose her breasts. Her moan is deep and content when I take her nipple into my mouth. I take my time kissing on sucking on her breasts before I slowly descend. She spreads her legs allowing me access and my erection grows harder when I get the first taste of her. Yes, she pants as I lick and suck on her clitoris. I continue with my onslaught until she is on the brink, and she groans in complaint when I stop. Her blue eyes are clouded with arousal when I center myself and slowly enter her. She reaches for me and wraps her arms around my neck before she feverishly kisses me. My lips trail down her jaw to her mark and she moves her hips to increase our rhythm. Gladly, I oblige and moments later she screams out her orgasm and I shortly follow. Breathlessly I lay down next to her and pull her into my embrace. Now your turn, my breathing is erratic. No fair, she complains. How am I supposed to compete with that? It's not a competition, I raise and support myself on my elbow to look at her. Besides, I'll be the judge. You're impossible, she pushes me over and sits up to reach for the gift. It's just one of the many reasons why you love me, I grin. You're really pushing it, she rolls her eyes as she hands me the gift. It's a book, I announce victoriously before I start unwrapping it. Yes, she smirks. It's a guide on how to be less arrogant. I stand corrected, I say as I stare at it in awe. It's a comic book about me. Did you draw this? Yes, she admits sheepishly as she looks down at her fumbling fingers. This is amazing, Liana, I mumble as I take my time to page through it. Every image is like a photograph. It's the highlights of our story. At the bar, the back seat of my car. The time I showed you my wolf in the woods. This is so amazing, thank you. I lean forward and kiss her softly. You should continue to the end, she says nervously. Curiously I look at her, but I cannot tell why she is so anxious. I continue reading our story up to the end where she confesses her love for me. I turn to the last page. There is only one picture, and it is of me and her sitting next to each other. She is looking forward, smiling brightly while I am looking down at a bundle in my arms. A tiny finger is wrapped around my pinky and a wolf's tail is hanging out of the blanket. I take a moment to comprehend what I am looking at. I am holding a baby. Our baby. Liana, I look up at her in awe. Is this your way of telling me you want children? No, she inhales deeply. This is my way of telling you we're having a baby. What? I gape at her like an idiot. I'm pregnant, she mumbles and avoids eye contact. Sorry. Sorry. I frown. Why are you sorry? This wasn't part of your plan, she wipes the silent tears off her face. I hoped it would be good news. This isn't good news, I put the book down and pull her onto my lap. This is excellent news. Really? She looks at me with uncertainty. It's unexpected, I admit as I hold her closer. But I'm happy about it. When did you find out? When you came back from Dallas and you called Mitchell because I was sick, she confesses. But Michelle confirmed it with a blood test the day I went to see my parents after Leon's death. For a moment we sit like that in silence as I process the information. Suddenly things are starting to make sense. Her mood swings and her increase in appetite. I always planned on being a father, but I had all my days to make her mate. I had no time to think about our future children. This weekend was for us to bond and to mark her. I did not bargain on going home with a mate and a baby. I'm going to be a father, I burst out laughing and she looks at me with surprise. Do you know what this means? I ask joyously. We're having a baby. We're going to be a family. Are you in shock? She looks concerned as she wiggles out of my hold. I'm overjoyed, I pull her back into my arms and kiss her until she fights for air. Thank you, I sigh against her lips. It was an accident, she whinges. At one point I wasn't sure if I should keep it. I don't deserve the gratitude. Of course, you would have had those thoughts, I push her back into the pillows as I kiss her again. I am not at the slightest fazed by her confession. A lot was going on and she and I were fighting most of the time. But you kept my baby. Thank you for that. I kept our baby, she smirks as she pushes her fingers through my hair. Our baby, I sigh as I shift down and tenderly kiss her stomach. Underneath a thin layer of skin and muscle, our baby is growing and the magnitude of it all hits me. The love and happiness I am feeling are so consuming and it feels that my body is not big enough to contain it all. Axel, why are you crying? Liana asks softly when my tears drop on her stomach. I'm so happy, I sniff, not at the least ashamed that I am crying. So incredibly happy. I kiss her belly once more before I pull her into my arms and lie down. Your gift is so much better than mine, I mumble and kiss her. It's not a competition, remember. She grins as she pushes me onto my back and lays on top of me. But I won. We won, I laugh happily and kiss her. It's our baby. I call him Wolfie. Liana places her hands on my chest and rests her chin on them as she looks at me. It's a boy. I ask surprised. I don't know, she shrugs. It's too early to tell, but it feels right. Wolfie it is, I chuckle. Michelle says we'd be able to tell the gender in about 4 weeks, she smiles. Do you want to know? I look at her hopefully. I get that couples want to be surprised but I want to know everything. I do, she looks at me with her gorgeous blue eyes and my heart melts. How else would we know which name to paint on the nursery walls? We can always stick with Wolfie, I tease. Your daughter will hate that, she lifts her hand to look at her ring. But your son might love it. I hope it's a boy, I roll her over onto her back. Because I will kill every boy in town if they want to do to her what I'm about to do to you. No, you won't, she smiles wickedly. I won't let you. So, you'll be fine if a man does this to her. I slip my hand between her legs and gently rub her clitoris. Yes, she moans. As long as he treats her like her daddy treats me because it feels good. I capture her lips as I continue pleasing her and it is not long before she trembles and goes weak. Liana, I murmur against her lips. You do know wolf babies aren't born with tails. Yes, she snorts indignantly and shoves me against the shoulder. The tail represents you as the father. I know, I'm only teasing, I say as she gets out of bed. Please don't be upset. I love my book. I'm not upset, she laughs happily. I'm hungry and am going to the kitchen. We just ate, I gape at her. Are you seriously hungry? Wolfie is always hungry, she sighs theatrically. Yup, I get out of bed. Definitely a boy. Liana POV I'm going to miss this place, I sigh longingly as I close the balcony doors. The weekend has come to an end, and I am not ready to go home. I want to stay in our love bubble. We'll definitely come again, Axel smiles as he picks up our bags. This place has plenty of good memories. That was my first thought when we arrived, I follow him to the car. That we should come back. Wolfie will love building sand castles. We'll return, Axel looks at me as I put on my seatbelt. That's a promise. Darkness descends into my heart as we leave the beach house behind. The weekend was idyllic but now we must return and face reality. And it is scary. Everything will be fine, Axel says as if he is reading my mind and reaches over to give my hand an encouraging squeeze. It's going to be rocky, but we'll get through it. There are just so many things, I sigh. Angela, your parents, the wedding. And I'm sure there's a couple of things of which I haven't even thought. You concentrate on growing our baby, he smiles. I'll take care of the rest. Do you want a big wedding? I ask nervously as I admire my ring. I cannot financially contribute to a big affair, and I do not want his parents to think that I expect their family to pay for everything. What we want is irrelevant, he sighs. I'm the alpha, Liana. The wedding is going to be enormous. And I hate to drop this on you, but the wedding will be in 2 months. Are you serious? I gape at him. That is going to be impossible. Guests, food, flowers, and a dress. It is simply too much. It's my inauguration, he smiles. And you're going to be my Luna. It sort of goes hand in hand. Oh, shit, I mumble as the blood drains from my face. I forgot about the Luna part. Do I have to? I hardly know your laws and I'm going to screw up. Liana, he looks at me seriously. I would not have marked you if I didn't have faith in you. I'm not going to throw you into the deep end. You'll have help and plenty of it. And I'll be there every step of the way. Your parents are going to hate me, I whimper. I'm a human and they picked out Angela. I'm not going to lie, Axel inhales deeply. They're not going to be thrilled, but they'll get over it once they get to know you. Just be patient and give it time. Besides, the second they hold their grandchild, nothing else will matter. And I thought Angela was my biggest problem, I swallow hard on the nerves. Now it seems she's the only problem I can handle. If you can handle her, the rest will be a breeze, Axel laughs. You're resilient, Liana, you can do this. And don't forget you survived your parents. You'll survive mine. I do not reply and toy with my ring as I process his words. He makes it sound so easy, but he does have a point. Not only have I survived my family, but I have also survived Brad, Angela, and Wyatt, and they all wanted me dead. At least Axel's parents will not try to kill me, I hope. I had my share of struggles, this is merely the last hurdle before happiness. Okay, I take a deep breath. I can do this. I'll concentrate on one thing at a time. That's my Luna, he smiles brightly. And you can start with your dress and bridesmaids. My mother has been planning my wedding since my birth. She practically just needs the bride's name. My heart jumps into my throat. My guests are normal people. What if we embarrass the Alpha family? Worse, I do not have a mother anymore. No family in my corner. And it is a lonely and depressing thought. It might be better not to invite anyone I know. I close my eyes and lean back against the seat. I would give anything right now to be back at the beach house. Axel POV, I'll be back in an hour or two, I say as I carry our bags into Liana's cottage. I have business to discuss with Adele. Sure, she smiles. I'll start dinner in the meantime. Gently I place my hand on her stomach as I kiss her long and tenderly before I walk to my car. Coming back to reality has hit me hard. Liana is worked up enough as it is about the wedding, I do not want to add to it. She needs to be calm if she wants to carry our baby to term. Especially since she is carrying an Alpha's child. The strain on her body is going to be tremendous. I arrive at Adele's house in record time and knock on her door. Sir. Her eyes are wide, and her face is flustered as she tries to fix her hair. Is something wrong? Relax, Adele, and invite me in, please. I smile. Oh, sorry, she quickly opens the door for me. Please excuse the mess, I wasn't expecting company and, Adele, I cut her short and she immediately goes quiet. Do you have a mate? No, sir, she stutters flabbergasted. Then you wouldn't mind moving into the mansion if I appoint you to Gamma? I ask. What? Her jaw drops and she blinks a few times before she regains her composure. Yes, of course, anything you need, sir. Your position as Gamma will be permanent, I continue. But your stay in the mansion will only be for a year. Yes, sir, thank you, sir, she beams. This is such an honor. You deserve this, I smile. You worked hard, and I can trust you. You're moving in tomorrow. Sir, she calls me back when I reach the door and she runs over to me. May I ask what's the purpose of my stay in the mansion? I'll brief you extensively tomorrow, I reply. But you're going to protect my mate and your future Luna. For the second time, Adele's jaw drops, and I laugh inwardly as I walk to my car. I like Adele and she is perfect for the job, but she should really work on her poker face. I take a deep breath before I walk to the door and knock. Seconds later, the door opens. "What do you want?" Luther asks brusquely. "We need to talk," I reply patiently. "I'd rather fight it out than talk," Luther barks as he crosses his arms in front of his chest. "Luther, we've been best friends since we were born," I sigh. "And you're wrong about me and Liana." "No, I'm not," he explodes. "Go Angela's life, she deserves it. Liana doesn't." "Liana's my mate, Luther," I say angrily. "I am trying to be civil, but I will only tolerate so much. My engagement to Angela is a ruse to keep Liana safe, and before you ask, yes. Liana knows everything." He gapes at me. "Why didn't she tell me?" "Long story," I sigh as push my fingers through my hair. "Look, you're my best friend and cousin. Our friendship is important to me. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. You've been telling me about this girl for months and I never realized it was Liana. If I knew, I would have told you. And you can't blame her, she didn't know we were mates until 2 weeks ago. Why did you keep it from her?" Luther growls. "That's no way to treat your mate." "Dude, it's a long and complicated story," I grunt frustrated. "And I will tell you every dirty detail once I know we're okay." "Sure, man," he shrugs. "I mean, I still have the hots for your mate, but I'll respect the bond. I'm sorry I kissed her. I would never have done that if I knew." "Thanks," I smile. "It would have sucked if this got between us." "So," Luther grins. "Am I still your best man like we agreed as kids?" "You know it," I smirk before I turn around and go home to my mate. My mood is much better when I park at Liana's cottage. I have Adele to protect Liana when I am not around, and the air is cleared with Luther. I am fully aware that it is going to take him time to get over his crush, but I know and trust him. He will never cross the boundary again now that he knows the truth. I am surprised to hear laughter when I walk into the cottage and follow the noises to the kitchen. Carol, Drew and Liana are gathered around the counter, laughing at one of Drew's stories. "You're back," Liana shrieks happily as she rushes over to me. "Can I tell them, please?" She looks pleadingly at me with her big, blue eyes, and secretly I pray that our child will not inherit those blues. I simply cannot resist them. "Sure," I smile. "We're engaged," she announces loudly and proudly takes out her ring from her pocket. "About time," Drew exclaims and comes over to congratulate us. "I'm lost," Carol frowns. "Everybody knows about Angela." I'll turn on the kettle, Liana looks at me. "You start talking." Defeated, I shake my head and take a seat next to Carol as I tell her everything. I do not leave anything out. I trust these two more than I trust my parents. "Dear Goddess," Carol mumbles. "This is a lot. I mean, I know there was something between you two, but this? Baby. And you?" She turns to Drew. "You didn't say anything." "It's not my place," Drew shrugs nonchalantly. I look at the three of them as they babble non-stop. Since Drew became my driver, I could always count on him. And they share a bond with Liana that she never had with her parents. Without a word, I take her hand and pull her closer to whisper in her ear. "May I really?" She looks at me with bright eyes and I nod. "Drew and Carol," Liana clears her throat, and she nestles closely to me for support as she looks at them. "You have been here for me from the very beginning. Taking care of me, and I was wondering. Drew, will you walk me down the aisle? And Carol, I'm going to need a mother's advice and support." "Oh, child," Carol wipes her tears as she rushes over to Liana and hugs her tightly. "It will be such an honor." "Well, look at that," Drew grins with misty eyes. "The driver will be seated with the alphas." "Let's talk dresses," Carol says eagerly. "No way," I say sternly. "Liana needs to eat." Of course, Carol rushes towards the stove. Liana looks happily at me, and I wink at her. Dinner is ready, we've been waiting for you. Liana POV. Good morning, Axel whispers in my neck as he wakes me with butterfly kisses. It's time to get up. Nights with you simply aren't long enough, I moan sleepily as I push my back closer to his chest to absorb more of his body heat. Especially when I must sacrifice cuddle time to discuss Luna's duties. You're going to be a great Luna, he murmurs. On the bright side, I will be legally allowed to rip out Angela's reproductive organs if she doesn't behave, I snort. Any new symptoms this morning? He asks gently as his hand moves to my stomach. You mean besides being constantly hungry? I yawn. Besides that, yes, he chuckles as he turns me on my back to kiss my stomach. I don't know if it's a symptom, I tangle my fingers in his hair. But I do have a slight headache. Oh, no, he looks up at me with wide eyes. We're not even married and you're already looking for excuses to not have sex with me. You're ridiculous, I laugh as I pull his face to mine and kiss him. I will only resort to such drastic measures to win a fight. Diabolical, Miss Erickson, he captures my lips and rolls onto his back, pulling me on top of him. His tongue plunders my mouth, and I can feel his erection pushing against my thigh. I groan when he pinches a sensitive nipple and the world with its problems disappears. It is just me and him and nothing else matters. I straddle his lap and slowly I lower myself onto him as he looks at me with lustful eyes. I do not move, I simply savor the exquisite feeling of him inside me. Are you okay? His voice is hoarse with desire. We don't have to do this if you don't feel well. Are you kidding me? I lean forward and kiss him deeply. When you're with me, I murmur as I leave kisses down his jaw. And inside me, I'm whole. You're my sanctuary. I graze my teeth over his mark, and he groans deeply. Eagerly, he reaches down and plants his hands on my ass as he starts thrusting hard and deep into me. I sit up and dig my nails into his shoulders as my eyes fall close in sheer pleasure. Our breathing and moans of ecstasy are the only sounds as my orgasm builds. Axel places a hand behind my neck and pulls me closer. He kisses me feverishly before he moves to my mark. Oh, dear goddess, I cry out when he bites into my mark and my orgasm explodes in a kaleidoscope of pleasure and fulfillment. I collapse onto him completely numb and drained of energy as he thrusts more until he ejaculates. I fight for air. We're going to be so late. Nah, he bundles me into his arms and stands up. Your boss is formidable, he won't mind. We're obviously not working for the same man, I smile wickedly as he carries me to the bathroom. My ego, he rolls his eyes as he puts me down and opens the shower taps. Are you planning on showering with me? I raise my eyebrows. Why not? He shrugs. It's saving time. No shenanigans, I warn him as I reach for the painkillers in the bathroom cabinet. Wait, you were serious about the headache? Axel frowns. Of course, I give him a perplexed look. Why would I joke about something like that? I thought you were going to tell me it's because of everything we discussed last night, he replies thoughtfully. Make no mistake, that is headache potential, I smirk. But this has nothing to do with that. Headaches are common during the first trimester, Axel. It's hormones and nothing to fuss about it. Liana, his voice is stern as he comes to stand in front of me. Why would you agree to have sex when you have a headache? For one, it's only a slight headache, I say before swallowing the pills. 2. An orgasm is thought by researchers to act like a natural analgesic, thanks to feel-good endorphins and hormones released during a sex climax. So, you're willing to endure pain for happy hormones and an OM. He grunts. It wasn't painful, Axel, I sigh as I get into the shower. And if it was, the happy hormones made sure that I don't care. Liana, please, he begs as he joins me in the shower. You need to look after yourself. Headaches might be normal, but if it's persistent, you're going for a checkup. Yes, dear, I roll my eyes at him. With a growl, he grabs me around the waist and pulls me to his chest. Axel, we're already late and I said no funny business, I protest laughingly as the water streams over us. I'm not kidding, Liana, he says seriously, and my laughter dies down. Promise me you won't ever put my needs above yours or Wolfie's. I will not survive if something happens to you or our child. Please take care of the two of you. I promise, I place my hand against his cheek. I won't do anything to compromise us. Thank you, he kisses me long and tenderly and I turn to mush. I never knew it could feel so good to have somebody care so much. Axel POV we're just in time, I say softly as we walk to the elevators. Angela and her parents will be here in 10 minutes. Are you sure you don't want me in your office when you tell them? Liana sighs. She's eventually going to find out it's me. We might as well get it over with. No, I shake my head determinedly. She's erratic and I'm not taking chances. Okay, she nods, and we walk in silence to my office. Sir, Juliana jumps up and rushes over to me. Alpha Jack just arrived at the lobby. I'm here, aren't I? I smirk. I know, she looks bewildered at me. But I must warn you, Angela was pissed when you disappeared Friday. Just wait until after our meeting, I smile wickedly and pull Liana closer. Her eyes widen in surprise, but she does not protest when I thoroughly kiss her. Wish me luck, I smile at her. I look at Juliana who is standing like a statue gawking at us. And get Juliana sugar water before she collapses before you tell her what's going on, I smile and walk to my office. Less than 5 minutes after I made myself comfortable behind my desk, Angela and her parents walk in. Babe, Angela sighs theatrically as she storms towards me with open arms. What happened to you Friday? I was worried sick. Take a seat, I say politely as I take her wrists and effectively stop her from hugging me. We need to talk. This sounds somber, Jack frowns as everyone sits down. Jack, I look at him and ignore the women. I'm not going to waste time with niceties. There is no easy way to say this. If you recall, I agreed to marry Angela on condition that I do not find my mate before my inauguration. I regret to inform you that I've found my mate and that I will no longer marry Angela. What? Angela shrieks and jumps up. No. No. You're lying. Angela, I look at her. I'm sorry. Please accept my apology and keep the ring. The ring. She yells and her mother gets up and pulls Angela into her embrace. I don't give a shit about the ring. You asked me to marry you. I already have a dress and. Daddy, talk sense into him. Sweetheart, Jack stands up and joins his wife and sobbing daughter. There's nothing to do here. That was the agreement, and you know it. It's our law that he must marry his mate to keep his position. But I love him, she sobs uncontrollably and turns to me. Don't you love me? Tell me you don't care. After our night, Angela, I cut her off before she could blab about that dreadful incident. I'm sorry, this brings me no joy. Liar, I reprimand myself. Then get rid of her, Angela shouts desperately. I know you can't reject her, so kill her and marry me. Angela, Jack snaps. Control yourself. A future Luna doesn't behave like this or say such things. Future Luna, she looks at her father as she wipes her nose with the back of her hand. I'm not even a future bride anymore. I can say what I want. Axel, Angela's mother looks at me with cold, dead eyes. When and where did you find your mate? I met her in a bar, I stick to the truth as I stand up and undo my tie to reveal my mark. And she accepted me as her mate this weekend. No. Angela's scream echoes through my office and Jack catches her just in time when her knees give in. How can you do this to me? Angela weeps as she looks at me through snot and tears. I found my mate, Angela, I say firmly. It's not being done to you. So, where is the lucky lady? Her mother sneers and I know she is just as furious as Angela. We should congratulate her. Are you serious, Mary? I glare at her. Angela just yelled at me to kill her. Do you really think I'm going to introduce her? Honestly, I should ban you from our territory. Don't be hasty, Axel, Jack intervenes as he helps a sobbing Angela into a chair and turns to me. She was only upset and didn't mean it. Look at her, she's devastated. Have a heart, son. Fine, I pull my shoulders back and look at him. Out of respect for you and your friendship with my parents, I will let it slide. But Jack, if Angela ever threatens my mate in any way, she will be punished. Do I make myself clear? Understood, Jack nods. And I appreciate your leniency. I know I would not have tolerated such disrespect towards my mate. I'm glad we agree, I smile stiffly. Axel, Angela whimpers as she stumbles to her feet. Please don't. Please. I love you, please. Jack, I look at him and ignore Angela. I think it's best if you leave now. Liana Povo. My goddess. Juliana gapes at me as Axel closes the door behind him. I must know everything. Don't you want the sugar water first? I smile wickedly as I place my handbag on my desk. What? She frowns for a second before life returns to her. No, I want details. Messy, dirty, and colorfully detailed. Since Angela and her parents will be here any minute, I'll stick to the short version. I laugh as she pulls her chair to my desk and takes a seat next to me. Axel is my mate, and we're getting married. Oh, and he's telling Angela today. That's awesome, she says bewildered. But not nearly enough details. Come on, you can't do this to me. I'll have to, I whisper as Angela and her parents walk towards us. For now. Angela looks deadly beautiful dressed in red, but she does not even acknowledge our existence as she marches past us with her nose in the air. Alpha Jack and his wife quickly greet us before they follow Angela into Axel's office. Damn, what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall right now, Juliana giggles as the door shuts behind them. I hope she ugly cries and spoils her perfect makeup, I snort. I do not think I will ever forgive her for what she did with Axel, and terrible makeup will not even begin to cover it, but it is a start. It's a pity the room is soundproof, Juliana's shoulders slump. We won't hear her yelling and screaming. And there will be yelling and screaming, I grin. Why aren't you in there? Juliana turns to me in surprise. You could have witnessed everything firsthand. I know, I sigh. But Axel wants to keep me safe. He's always been protective, but I swear that man will lock me up in a padded room until this baby is born. Wait, what? Juliana gawks at me. Yeah, I smile wickedly. I left that as a surprise. All of this is a shocker, Juliana croaks. You didn't need an element of surprise. This way is more fun, I laugh. My life suddenly turned bland, she pouts. There's no villains and victims. Only a happy ending. That's not bland, I roll my eyes. That's perfect. We all strive for that. You're 10 steps ahead of all of us. Besides, this might be entertaining to you, but it's your soul when another woman is after your mate. Sorry, Juliana says regretfully. I didn't mean, it's fine, I reach over and squeeze her hand. I get it, and I would have agreed if I didn't have to deal with my feelings. Especially those hateful feelings I'm harboring towards Angela. Suddenly the door bursts open and Juliana and I abruptly go quiet as we stand up and watch Angela and her mother storm out. I lower my gaze to hide my satisfaction when I see her messed up makeup. Angela stops in front of me, and I look up. Why aren't you crying? Excuse me. I look flabbergasted from her towards her mother. Did Angela figure out that I am Axel's mate? Does she expect me to be remorseful and sorry for her? Well, he obviously stopped you now that he found his mate, she sneers and wipes her cheeks. You pitiful human, she snorts. You don't even know. And to think I thought you were a threat. Guess the joke's on both of us. She does not wait for my response and walks towards the elevators with her mother on her heels. Speechless, I watch them leave. I doubt that Angela is capable of emotions like sympathy or empathy, but I swear this is the closest she will ever get to it. I am not feeling bad for her, but I just realized how much Angela cares for Axel. Or to be his Luna. I do not know which. I was wrong, Juliana says dryly as I sit down. Being there when she figures out you're his mate is going to be much for fun than being a fly on the wall. I feel sorry for her, I mumble absent-mindedly. What? Juliana gapes at me. Are you insane? She deserves much worse than what she's been handed. I didn't mean it like that, I shake my head. Angela is a sad person, and I pity her. I don't care for her and will gladly drive a stake through her stone-cold heart, but it's sad, really. To be so self-absorbed that you cannot comprehend reality. Can you imagine how disillusioned it must be for her? Serves her right, Juliana snorts. She deserves worse, I grin. All I'm saying is, she's the one that should be pitied, not me. She's in for one of a wake-up call when she learns you're his mate, Juliana laughs. Axel POV. I watch Angela and Mary storm out and frown when Jack makes no effort to follow them. Instead, he takes a seat. He might have been supportive when I broke the news, but that does not mean that he is happy about it. His daughter is distraught and as a father, he would do anything to help her. I'm sorry for Angela's behavior, Jack sighs and I relax a little. Maybe Jack is an honorable alpha after all. Honestly, I didn't expect anything else, I smile stiffly as I sit down. Truthfully, I expected more theatrics from Angela. Maybe a witch's curse or damnation. But he is already hurting for his daughter, and I am not going to make it worse for him. It's understandable that she's upset. Why did you do it? Jack asks angrily and I look at him in surprise. Certainly, as an alpha, he must know the answer. What do you mean, Jack? I ask, calculated as I rest my elbows on the desk and intertwine my fingers. So much for Jack's support. I'm simply obeying our laws. Why did you ask her to marry you when you had no intention of going through with it? He hisses at me. My child is hurting and, are you kidding me? I bellow as I fight my anger. You're blaming me for this? May I remind you that it's you and my dad that pressured me into doing it? I said no and you insisted on how wonderful it would be. I know, he shouts. But we were counting on you to do the right thing. Accepting my mate is the right thing, I argue. That's the lawful thing, not the right thing, his nostrils flare with anger. When you proposed to Angela, you made a commitment. Not only towards her but towards the alpha families and the packs. You could have rejected your mate, and none would be the wiser. You would still be alpha. Forsake, contracts were drawn up and signed. I didn't sign anything, I smirk and reach into my desk to pull out the marriage contract as well as the contract for Jack's company's software. I toss the contracts on the desk in front of him. You deliberately pushed the revision of the contract until I proposed to Angela, my words are sturdy and calculated as I glare at him. Once I popped the question, you were eager to continue with business. But I don't take kindly to bullying, Jack. I was crystal clear that I had no interest in marrying your daughter, but you wouldn't let it go. You only have yourself to blame for your daughter's broken heart. Axel, this isn't enough, Jack, I snap. I have no interest in Angela or your business. Accept it for what it is, over. So, dumping my daughter isn't enough. He yells. You must humiliate me as well? What kind of man are you? The kind that doesn't around, I bellow. While you were goofing around with contracts and your daughter's heart, I did what was lawful and right. And I was upfront and honest about it until you pressured me into a corner. I'm not sorry for not doing business with your company anymore, and as sure aren't sorry about the engagement. Angela's not my mate, you knew it and you still gambled with her. You lost, deal with it. You'll regret this, Jack hisses as he gets up. Seriously? I smirk and cross my arms in front of my chest. You're threatening me now because you lost at your own game. That wasn't a threat, Jack pulls his shoulders back. It was a prediction. Because trust me, one day you'll regret this decision. Once you realize your mate is no match to Angela and that your new business partners aren't as good as me. Well, I shrug. I guess we'll have to wait and see. You're a fool, Jack snorts and looks at me in disgust. Angela dodged a bullet. If that's true, you shouldn't be upset, I grin. You should be grateful. He sneers and walks to the door. Jack, I call after him. You and your family are banned from our territory. If you dare, your father will never allow that. He swings around and glares at me with blazing eyes. He's still the alpha boy and you don't have the authority. You don't know your best friend at all, I laugh heartedly. Jack, of all our laws, my dad respects the mate bond the most. Once he knows about my mate, he will support me. Especially if I tell him that you advised me to reject her and accept Angela. Jack stares at me in hatred as I walk towards him. As a courtesy towards my parents, you and Mary will be invited to the wedding, I say. But Angela isn't welcome. I wasn't going to say this out of respect, but that ship has sailed. She's unstable and needs professional help, Jack. You don't have to believe me or like my words. But if you love your child, you'll see to it that she gets the help she needs. For a split second, there is a flickering of fear in Jack's eyes, and I know without a doubt that he knows I am speaking the truth. You can shove your wedding invitation, he grunts and opens the door. You'll never see me or my family again. The door slams shut behind him and I exhale deeply in relief. It is finally over. Liana POV, are you okay? Axel asks softly and takes my hand as Drew parks in front of the mansion. I inhale deeply and swallow the bile that is rising in my throat. After Jack stormed out of the office, I was relaxed and enjoyed the rest of the day. I'm either experiencing a new symptom or I'm nervous. I have an overwhelming urge to be sick. Here you go, sweetie. Drew turns towards us and hands me a packet of salt and vinegar chips. This will help. Thanks, I mumble and gratefully open the packet. What? Drew asks Axel when he stares at him in surprise. Do you also want? No, he snorts and looks at me with concern. I'm impressed with your readiness. Well, of course, I'm going to be a grandpa, Drew snorts as if it is the most natural conclusion, and my heart melts. Drew and Carol are how I imagine parents should be. I must be ready for everything. See. He reaches into the glove box and pulls out a cigar. I even have you covered for when it's time. You're the man, Drew, Axel chuckles. Or should I say Gramps? What if your parents don't like me? I mumble as I devour the chips as if it is my last meal. As entertaining as their banter is, it does absolutely all to calm my nerves. Then they're idiots, Drew blurts out and quickly looks at Axel. No disrespect. Axel only grins and shakes his head at Drew before he turns his attention to me. Liana, you're perfect and there's nothing not to like, he says patiently. I love you, I smile and tenderly stroke his cheek. And I appreciate what you're trying to do, but let's cut the crap. Your parents like Angela, and they're going to hate me. No, they like Angela's parents, he pulls me into his embrace. Huge difference. But, he smothers my protest with a kiss, and I participate eagerly. Liana, he murmurs against my lips after a moment. Don't work yourself up about things you have no control over. If my parents don't like you, which I doubt, it would be their problem. I love you and I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to come between you and them, I sigh as I nestle closer to his chest. I know how hard it is to lose parents. It will not come to that, he says urgently and cups my face. And darling, there's no choice. You're my future. I don't want to interrupt, Drew whispers as he opens his door. But we have company. Everything will be fine, he smiles reassuringly and kisses me quickly before Drew opens the door for us. I step out and inhale deeply when I see his father waiting. I am doing my utmost best not to freak out and run for the hills. I want to be the strong and fearless Luna Axel deserves, but meeting the parents is harder than I imagined. Because I have a desperate need for them to like me. I already screwed it up with my parents, I do not want to repeat. Axel takes my hand and I steel myself when he leads me towards his father. Hello, Dad, Axel pulls me close to his side. Meet my mate, Liana. It's an honor, Alpha, I smile bravely. Grant looks from Axel to me, and his eyes rest a moment on me before he swings around. My office, now, he barks and turns around. He likes you, Axel quickly whispers in my ear. I do not say a word as we follow Grant. Are Axel and I even at the same place? His father did not even acknowledge my existence, how can he possibly think he likes me? Axel POV Liana's tension is tangible as we walk to Dad's office. I wish I could ease things for her but nothing that I can say will help. I did not lie when I said Dad likes her. She does not know him the way I do, and I saw it in his eyes. Where's Mother? I ask as I put my arm protectively around her shoulder and pull her closer. Here, her voice is cold and her glare icy as she looks at us. But not by choice. With her head held high, she strides past us and sits down. So, what Jack said is true, she raises her eyebrows. Depends on what he told you, I snort. But yes, I did find my mate. Well, Mother huffs. Speak, I don't have the whole day. You know what, Mother, I hiss as I fight my anger. With that attitude, you can shove it. Axel Silverman. Dad bellows and Liana cowers closer to me. You shall not talk to your mother that way. And I will not tolerate her dismissive behavior towards my mate, I shout back as I hold on tighter to Liana. Neither of you even had the decency to greet her. You're supposed to be the leading example for the pack, and this is how you behave. She is my true mate and I love her. Liana is your future daughter-in-law and mother of my child whether you like it or not. Your approval will not change anything. Either you accept her, or you'll lose me. I didn't raise you, enough. Dad snaps and silences Mother. Both of you. We're all adults here. I look Mother in the eyes until she breaks eye contact. Now, Dad continues calmly. Let's all have a seat. Liana's hands are trembling as we take a seat next to each other on the couch. I'm sorry you had to find out this way, my words are steady and clear. But I had no choice. There's always a choice, Mother sneers. Not when you're being manipulated, Mom, I look at her. The four of you were so eager to marry me and Angela that you made it impossible for me to tell you the truth. Son, that's not fair, Dad frowns. We only suggested Angela because you didn't have a mate. Should I remind you about our fight? I squint my eyes at him. You were ready to disown me if I didn't agree to marry Angela. Because you didn't have a mate then, he sighs tiredly. I did, I admit, and Dad's eyes widen. I already found Liana, but I couldn't tell you because Angela tried to kill her. That's preposterous, Mom yells. Bullshit. Dad explodes. See? I smirk at them. Right there, that's the reason why I didn't come to you. You were so impressed with yourselves and the solution that I should marry Angela, that you're blind to the truth. It didn't matter to you that I said no. Or that I'm not attracted to Angela or even like her. All that mattered to you was your plan and your ideals. Forsake, it wasn't even a private discussion. You bombarded me right there in front of Angela and her parents. Why are you saying such hurtful things? Mom starts crying. We've known Angela her entire life. She's sweet and kind. She's unstable and needs professional help, I insist. I need a drink, Dad grunts as he gets up and pours himself a stiff one. This is your fault, Mother glares at Liana. You're poisoning Axel with lies. Mom, I warn her. I swear to the goddess, I will pack my stuff and leave. I would rather be a rogue with Liana than an alpha without her. How did you expect me to react, Axel? Mother explodes. You banned our friends from our territory and rejected the perfect candidate for Aluna. Who, I should add, we've known since birth. Now you waltz in here with this human girl as a mate and throw accusations of manipulation and instability. We know and trust Angela's family. Of course, it makes sense that this human is spreading toxic lies. I'm your son. I lose my temper and jump up. How about you give me the benefit of the doubt and trust what I have to say? You're so concerned about your friends, that you're deaf for your own child. Your father and I, wife, shut up, Dad huffs as he slumps down in his chair. Excuse me. Mom gasps indignantly. You heard me, Dad sighs like an old man. Axel is right. We made it impossible for him to come to us with the truth. If we'd listened to him, all of this ugliness could have been avoided. Suck it up and apologize. I will do no such thing, Mom screams. Then get out, Dad shrugs. Grand Silverman, Mom hisses. You better, get out of my office. Dad looks at her with blazing eyes. If you can't face the facts, go be hysterical elsewhere. You're not sleeping in the bed tonight, Mother huffs as she storms out of the office. It won't be the first time, Dad shouts after her. Wow, Dad, I look at him with concern. I appreciate the support, but she's still your wife. Son, you're a grown-ass man and about to get married, he sighs. Here's a tip, couples fight. Which is normal and healthy, and it's all good as long as you make up. If you can't make up or don't care to fight, your marriage is in trouble. I know, but you threw her out of your office, I argue. And I threw you with a tomato, Liana chimes in and Dad bursts out laughing. See? He laughs. She gets it. You didn't leave her because of that. You're here fighting for your mate. Alpha, Liana clears her throat. I'm sorry for causing trouble. Nah, he waves at her. We owe you and Axel an apology. All of this could have been avoided if we created an environment where Axel could come to us. I'm sorry, son. Thanks, Dad, I say flabbergasted as I sit down next to Liana. Father has never apologized to me before in his life. Tell me everything. Dad gets up and pours himself another drink. Liana gives me an encouraging smile and I take her hand before I start talking. Liana POV. I sit silently next to Axel as he tells his father about us, but I do not listen. My headache from this morning has returned with a bang. It is unlike anything I have experienced before, including a migraine. There is a disturbing murmur of voices in the back of my head while some idiot is going apeshit on drums at my temples. And to top it off, nausea keeps coming and going in waves. I close my eyes and take soft, deep breaths. Hold on, son, Grant interrupts Axel's story. What's wrong with her? Liana, Axel turns to me and cups my face, but it is too painful to open my eyes. What's wrong? Talk to me. Just a headache, I try to sound nonchalant, but I am failing miserably. Since when? He asks, concerned as he picks me up. Why didn't you say anything? It just started, I moan. Why is everything so loud? Axel, what's wrong with her? Grant sounds alarmed. I don't know, Dad, Axel replies quickly. Get Michelle, I'm taking her to my room. Walk softer, I complain when it feels like each step he takes resonates through my head. We're almost there, he whispers as he takes the stairs 2 by 2. I bite hard onto my lip to keep myself from making any sounds. I feel so small and weak. No wonder his mother thinks I'm not suitable to be a Luna. Where are your pills? Axel asks as he lays me down on a soft bed. My handbag, I mumble and throw an arm across my eyes. Please turn off the lights, it's too bright. Even the sound of the light switch is excessively loud as Axel turns it off and switches on a lamp in the corner. Michelle is coming, Grant joins us in the room. Has this happened before? No, Axel sighs. Dad, she's, toilet, I groan and jump up. Instantly, Axel is by my side and carries me to the bathroom. He holds my hair as nausea overcomes me. With each convulsion, my head wants to explode. I want to cry from humiliation and pain, but there is no time as I keep on throwing up. Where is Michelle? Axel hisses at his father and I can tell he is on the brink of losing control. Axel, it's been 5 minutes, Grant reasons. She'll be here as soon as she can. Dad, Liana is pregnant, Axel sounds desperate. We must help her. I'm getting your mother, Grant says hastily. No, I croak as I wipe my mouth. She is the last person I want to see now. She hates me and she will hate my baby. It's over, I'm okay. You're not okay, Axel grunts as he picks me up and carries me back to bed. You're almost transparent. I just need my medication, I insist. There's nothing else to do. Go get it, Grant orders and sits next to me on the bed. I'll stay with her. Thanks, Dad, Axel sighs relieved and I pinch my eyes closed when his footsteps torture my mind again. I'm going to be a grandpa, he whispers softly in awe as he takes my hand. Yes, sir, I croak despite my best efforts to sound cheerful and happy. This is a good day, he pats my hand. And I don't want you to worry about anything, you hear? We'll take good care of you. Everything will be all right. Thanks for accepting me, I smile weakly as I squeeze his hand. I'm really sorry for being so rude earlier, he sighs. I was mad at Axel for shutting me out. I wasn't, it's okay, I interrupt him. As much as I appreciate his apology, I need silence. The nausea might be over, but my headache is very much alive. I understand. I'm back, Axel announces, and I am on the verge of reprimanding him for being so loud when I see his face. And he calls me pale. His green eyes are wide and worried as he helps me up. My fingers are trembling when I take the pills and Axel puts the glass of water against my lips to swallow. Thank you, I sigh and lay back down. Axel lays down next to me and pulls me close to his chest. Don't worry, I close my eyes. The baby is fine. Axel POV I can tell by Liana's breathing that she is sleeping, and I rest my forehead against hers. Axel, Dad says softly. Michelle is here. A little late, don't you think? I growl and pull Liana closer to me. Listen, Dad sighs. I know you're worried but don't lash out at Michelle. Don't take your emotions out on her, okay? Take it out on me, I know how to deal with it. Dad, I'm not going to make it if something happens to her, I admit. I want to yell and scream and break things. I cannot handle this hopelessness. I cannot watch her being so sick and not help her. I want our baby, Dad, but what if? Don't go there, Dad cuts me off sternly. You don't know what's wrong. There is a soft knock on the door before Michelle enters the room. She frowns softly as she looks from me and Liana to Dad. I'm sorry, she says confused. I was told Luna needs help. Where is she? Right here, I announce proudly. Liana is my mate. We kept it a secret until now. Dear goddess, she rubs her forehead. You don't keep secrets from your physician. Are you telling me she's pregnant with your baby? Yes, I gently let go of Liana and stand up. With all due respect, Alpha, Michelle grunts. She's a human and she's pregnant with an Alpha's baby. I should have known that from the beginning. She's going to need much stronger medication to carry the child to term. You've known she is pregnant a lot longer than me, I protest. What happened tonight? Michelle ignores my reply as she takes Liana's pulse and I tell her in as much detail as I can. Including the morning's headache. Have you marked her? Michelle asks softly as she gently touches Liana's stomach. Yes, I cross my arms in front of my chest. This weekend. Michelle does not say a word as she continues examining Liana and her silence is driving me insane. I need to know what is wrong, but her stoic face does not give anything away. Liana and the baby are fine, she announces after what feels like an eternity. Oh, thank goddess, I sigh and slump down on the corner of the bed. Dad comes to stand next to me and rests his hand encouragingly on my shoulder. But her mark is swollen, her words splinter my fleeting serenity. What does that mean? Dad asks on my behalf. Several things, she sighs heavily. Worst case, she's rejecting your mark. Impossible, Dad hisses. Why would her body keep the baby and reject the mark? I didn't say the baby will make it if she rejects the mark. Michelle looks at me with sympathy. You mean, the words get stuck, and I cannot bring myself to utter it. Yes, she sighs. If Liana rejects your mark, she'll reject your baby as well and she'll miscarry. Goddess, no, I bury my face in my hands and start crying. I do not need Liana to bear my mark. I love her and will still marry her. But I doubt that she will be able to accept and live with it. Why is this happening? Dad asks distraught. The alpha baby is too strong for a human mother, Michelle explains patiently. It depletes all her resources, and her body is fighting back to survive. Without medical intervention, Liana will either miscarry or die. And the baby dies either way. Dad's fingers bore into my shoulder. Yes, but gentlemen, that's the worst case, Michelle's soft words finally register, and I nod as I fight to pull myself together. She might not reject the mark. It could be swollen because she was marked after she became pregnant. When she was pregnant without the mark, she was fine. Adding the mark, added more strain to her body. This could be something as simple as her body trying to heal the mark and keeping the baby. With time, no, I jump up and ball my fists as I fight the agony. We cannot idly sit around and wait and see. There must be preventive measures. Surely, she's not the first human carrying an alpha's child. I was getting to that, Michelle smiles patiently. With time her body will adjust, and she won't have this issue with future pregnancies. The first pregnancy is the hardest and riskiest. With blood transfusions from the biological father, there has been a 100% success rate when started early. But those odds declined rapidly the longer you wait. Then why are we wasting time discussing it? I grunt as I roll up my sleeve. Get the needles, doctor. You need to be healthy, she states. No illness, or drugs in your system. No new piercings or tattoos. I assume I don't have to ask about multiple ex-partners. I give her a deathly glare and she shrugs. Due diligence, Alpha, she says. This is about my patient's health and not your ego. Technically, I should test your blood before giving it to her. We don't have time for that, I grunt. And my answer is no to all of the above. Okay, she nods after a moment. But only this time. We need to do this once a week, Michelle says as she takes out needles and tubes. I expect you at my office every Monday for a blood donation so that it can be screened before I give it to her. Fine, whatever, I grunt as I sit down next to Liana. Just save them. I'm also increasing her prenatal vitamins, Michelle continues as if I have not said a word. And you need to ensure that she eats at least 6 times a day. What else? I ask as the needle pricks my skin. Congratulations on finding your mate, Alpha, she smiles at me. Liana POV. It feels like I have slept for an eternity when I wake up. I take a moment to assess myself, but there is no headache or nausea. On the contrary, I feel great. I cannot remember when last I felt this good and well rested. Easy, Luna, Adele says when I sit up. What are you doing here? I ask, surprised when I see her sitting in a chair next to the bed. And it's Liana, not Luna. For now, she smiles. In 2 months, you'll officially be called Luna by all the pack members. Just don't call me that in front of Axel's mother, I sigh. She hates me enough as it is. She doesn't hate you, Adele looks sympathetically at me. She's just disappointed that her dream won't come true. Mary is her best friend, and they were so excited for Axel and Angela to get married. And she told you that? I raise my eyebrows doubtfully. I understand that Adele will be loyal towards her Luna, but I sincerely doubt that they have the kind of relationship where they confess their feelings. No, she snorts. The Omegas did. Take it from me, if you don't want something to become public knowledge, don't discuss it in front of an Omega. Ever. And if you're wondering, the answer is yes. By now the entire pack knows about you and your baby. I overthink her words a moment before it hits me. Did Angela also hear the news? Adele is my protection. It cannot be good if she is here and not Axel. Where's Axel? I ask, concerned. Did something happen? Everything is fine, she smiles reassuringly. Axel will explain when he's back. Back from where? I frown and get off the bed, but Adele is instantly by my side. Please stay in bed, she pleads. I'm under strict orders that you're not allowed to get up. Even when I need the bathroom. I raise my eyebrows. Are you feeling sick again? She gives me a panicked look. No, Adele, I sigh and walk to the bathroom. Nature's calling. Oh, okay, sheepishly she looks away. But I'll be right here if you need me. I'll call you if I'm out of toilet paper, I grin as I close the door. So, what did I miss? I ask Adele as I walk out of the bathroom and back to my bed. I took a nap and now I'm under protection. Not protection, more monitoring, Adele smiles. Alpha Axel will explain when he's done with his conference call. He didn't want you to wake up all alone. Doesn't it annoy you to babysit me? I shake my head. I mean, you're a kick-ass warrior and now you must hold my hand in case I'm scared. Are you kidding? Adele snorts. I'm Gamma. That makes me the highest female rank. I'll watch paint dry for that honor. Just out of curiosity, I squint my eyes. As Luna, I outrank you, right? Mostly, yes, she replies cautiously. Except when you're in danger. Then it's my job to keep you safe and you must follow my orders. Good, I smile and stand up. The danger I'm in right now is starvation. Let's go find something to eat. Axel outranks you, she protests quickly. I can't let you leave. I assume that you're aware of my pregnancy's effects, I cross my arms in front of my chest. And I need to eat, doctor's orders. So, where does that fit into your protocol? Easy, she smiles brightly. I'll order an Omega to bring you food. Unless this mansion is under attack and I should hide for my life, I'm going to the kitchen, I say adamantly. No, Adele presses her back against the door and spreads her arms and legs like a starfish. You're going to get me into trouble. An Omega will bring you food. Adele, this is ridiculous, you look like Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants, I roll my eyes. I'm pregnant, not an invalid. Let me go to the kitchen. Luna, this is my first day of duty. Please don't complicate this, she pleads. I'm not trying to get you into trouble, I reason. Axel will understand. The door behind Adele starts rattling and she quickly stands aside. What is going on here? Axel demands as he walks inside. Why's the door barricaded? Because you told her I can't leave, I huff. Thank you, Adele. Axel smiles at her and I develop an urge to slap the smile off his face. Good job, you may go now. What, Axel? I hiss as the door closes behind Adele. I'm not Rapunzel. You can't keep me locked up in here. I'm not, he exhales, and I calm down when I notice how tired he looks. I only wanted to be sure you're alright while I'm gone. What aren't you telling me? I demand nervously. Let's sit down, he suggests, and I follow him to bed with knots in my stomach. This does not sound good. Is our baby okay? My bottom lip starts quivering when I look into his worried eyes. For now, yes, he takes my hands and tells me what happened. For a long time, I can only stare at him as I process the words. For days I fought an internal struggle if I should keep the baby. I was wasting my time, this baby was deciding for me. Are you okay? Axel's voice slowly registers through my chaotic thoughts. No, this. I exhale deeply and close my eyes as I fight the hopelessness and despair. How are we supposed to do this? Michelle said, not that. I sniff and jump up. I close my eyes briefly and push my fingers through my hair. All of this, Axel, I sigh. Everything and everyone are against us. Angela, your mother, and now even the universe has jumped in to ruin us. How are we supposed to be happy with all the odds against us? Are you giving up on us? Axel is as white as a sheet as he mumbles the words. No, I say hastily as I climb onto his lap, throw my arms around his neck and bury my face in his neck. Instantly his arms are around my waist like iron clamps. Never. That's not what I meant. Everything else. It's just so overwhelming. I cannot lose Wolfie, Axel. I don't want to lose our baby. And you haven't, his voice is hoarse with emotion. Wolfie is still with us. I feel so guilty, I admit and start crying. In the beginning, I didn't know if I wanted to keep the baby and now, maybe he felt it. Maybe Wolfie doesn't feel loved and doesn't want to be born. Do you really believe that? Axel mumbles as he pulls me closer. No, I sob harder. I already love Wolfie. It's just, stress isn't good for the pregnancy, and now I'm stressed because we might lose him and it's a snowball effect. I doubt myself, my body and my abilities. I don't want to screw this up. My dad told me something once, he says softly. He said nothing, and nobody can make you feel so much like a failure like your children. You're always going to wonder if you did the right thing or if you did enough. That sounds very much like what you're feeling right now. Your dad's a wise man, I sniff as I fight to gain control of myself. Liana, Axel gently pushes me away and I wipe my face. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. No, join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks. A link is provided in the video description. Softly. The transfusion worked. We simply have to follow the rules, and everything will work out fine. I'm still scared, I admit. So am I, he gently kisses me. I feel exactly like you. But we'll take this journey together. Promise me you'll always be my voice of reason. I can't do this without you, I cup his face. I promise, he softly kisses me. Thank you, I sigh. For being so supportive and understanding. And mostly for accepting my crazy. I love you for all that you are, he smiles, and I crumple. I pull his lips to mine and kiss him long and tenderly until I am a puddle of happiness and serenity. I must have done something right over the years to deserve such a wonderful and perfect man. Axel, Grant knocks on the door and reluctantly I let go of him. Is everything okay? Come in, Dad, Axel replies and smiles at me before I jump up and run to the bathroom to wash my face. Axel has seen me in every form possible, but I might scare his dad with this face. Oh, wow, I exclaim when I get out of the bathroom and witness the bedroom being transformed into a dining room. Omegas have carried in a table and chairs and are setting the table. I hope I'm not overstepping, Grant smiles uncomfortably. Adele said you're hungry and since my wife is still ignoring me, I was hoping to join you. Of course, I laugh happily. Now I know why Axel is such a good man, he is a chip off the old block. But this wasn't necessary. I smile softly but my stomach growls excitedly when the aromas hit me. We would have joined you in the dining room. Hey, you're giving me a grandchild, he grins from ear to ear. The least I can do is feed you comfortably. You're so kind, Grant, thank you, I say appreciatively as I walk to Axel and snuggle against him. Speaking off, he awkwardly rubs the back of his neck. I was wondering if you would like to call me Dad. You know, since we're family now. But only if you want to. I would love that, Dad, the word rolls effortlessly off my tongue as I walk to him and hug him. Well, he clears his throat when I let go of him. I heard the doctor's orders, we should eat. Liana POV. I am lying on my side and staring at a sleeping Axel. Sometimes I must pinch myself to make sure I am not dreaming. This gorgeous god of a man is mine and he loves me. It has been 4 weeks since I moved in with him and my life is a fairy tale, literally. I have my Prince Charming, the kind king and the evil stepmother. Well, in my case, mother-in-law. She still has not warmed up to me. Sure, she is polite, and I cannot fault her for her manners, but the room's temperature drops to 0 when she walks in when I am present. There was a moment when I thought we broke through the barrier when we told her I am pregnant, but as soon as she heard about the blood transfusions, she turned cold again. In her eyes, I am simply not fit to be a Luna, and my difficulty keeping this baby is proof to her. Fortunately, Grant adores me and is doing everything to help me and make me feel welcome. He is the one training me for my role as future Luna when Axel is at work. Quitting my job was not my first choice, but I did not even argue when Axel asked me to resign. Not only is it for the safety of our baby, but I also need to step it up as Luna. And I did not like the stares and whispers when I went to work after we became public knowledge. But it was my choice to stop the art classes. Axel and Luther might have talked things through, but it is still a little awkward for me. Why are you awake? Axel asks groggily and reaches for me. Did you forget what day it is? I laugh as I nestle closer to him. It's Wednesday, isn't it? He yawns and I lay my head on his chest. You did forget, I pout and roll away. No, I haven't, he chuckles as his arm goes around my waist and he pulls my back against his chest. Our appointment with Michelle, but I'm not getting my hopes up again. Wolfie refuses to reveal his gender. Today will be different, I insist. I just know it. I care to know, he mumbles in my neck as his hand glides over my breasts to my stomach where a little bump is starting to show. But I don't mind waiting. I know, I sigh contently as I allow myself to get lost in his touch. But it's nice to be excited about normal things like the baby's gender instead of worrying if he'll survive. Michelle said we're past the worst. Axel pulls me onto my back and leans over to softly kiss me. You and Wolfie are fine. All thanks to your super blood, I grin as I throw my arms around his neck. I haven't had a single symptom since that night. No symptoms. He gives me a wicked smile and rolls away to stand up. Don't you dare, I grab his arm and pull him down onto his back. No symptoms, but one, I say as I straddle his lap. Since I reached the second trimester, I am downright horny. There is no nice way to put it. And I love the symptom, he chuckles as his hand slides up my thighs, over my stomach and settles on my breasts. Enjoy it while you can, I glide my hands over his muscular chest, and he sits upright to kiss me. Without breaking contact, I lift my hips and slowly lower myself onto him as I revel in the exquisite feeling of him inside me. His hands roam my back and I tighten my grip around his neck and push closer to him. I move my hips faster as my desire builds higher. The friction of our bodies ignites sparks all over my skin and I moan softly as I feel my orgasm getting closer. Axel pushes me slightly backwards and I place my hands on his knees behind me to support myself as his lips trail down my neck towards my cleavage. Ah, yes, I gasp when he takes my nipple into his mouth. Axel, Grant knocks on the door. Just a minute, Dad, Axel shouts, and frustrated beyond measure I lean forward and rest my head on his shoulder. I am about to get off his lap, but he gets a firm hold of my hips and continues our rhythm. Surprised, but happy, I bite onto my bottom lip not to make a sound as I get closer and closer to release. I don't want to come in, Grant replies. I was just wondering if Liana would be okay if I join you for the doctor's visit today. Ah. Yes. I yell as my orgasm hits me hard, but I do not stop moving until Axel finds release. Thanks, Liana, Grant replies. You're welcome, I mumble as I lay trembling against Axel's chest. Now that was an enthusiastic yes, Axel chuckles before claiming my lips. Ready? Axel asks patiently when I walk out of the bathroom. Let's go, I smile as I pick up my handbag. Hand in hand we leave the room and join Adele, who is already waiting for us in the hallway. My phone, Axel stops dead in his tracks. I left it in the room, I'll meet you at the car. Who has baby brain now? I smirk when he dashes towards the room as Adele and I continue walking. Good morning, Mrs. Silverman, I greet her friendly when we pass the living room. Are you also joining us today? Why would I want to do that? She snorts unladylike before getting up and leaving the room. I know this is none of my business, Adele whispers as we walk outside. But why do you even bother with her? If she treated me like that, I would have ignored her. I survived my mother, I grin. This is nothing in comparison. And I respect her as Axel's mother. She raised a good man, surely she can't be all bad. No, she's not, Adele admits. But what she's doing, isn't right or Luna-like. It doesn't matter, I shrug. And you must remember, her son and her husband took my side against her and supported me. That must be a bitter pill to swallow. You're already a better Luna than her, Adele smiles, but I choose to ignore the compliment. As much as it warms my heart, I am not in competition with Axel's mother. That's quite an entourage, I gasp when we reach the cars. Because you have quite a fan club, Adele laughs. Grant, Drew, Carol, David and Nick are all gathered and look at me when we walk closer. What's all this? I laugh flabbergasted. You know I'm not giving birth today, right? Support, Grant motions to Drew and Carol. And the rest is security. When the alphas are moving, we are moving, David grins. Then get moving, Axel orders as he joins us. Axel helps me onto the bed in the examination room while Grant, Drew and Carol stand aside. Dear Goddess, Michelle's eyes widen when she steps into the room. This is a lot of people. Are you going to make us leave? Carol asks softly. It depends on Liana, Michelle looks at me. They can stay, I smile reassuringly. They're all family. Okay, Michelle nods. But only for the ultrasound. After that, Mom and Dad are the only ones allowed. We appreciate it, Doctor, Grant smiles and Michelle nods. Axel comes to stand next to me and takes my hand. Nobody says a word as Michelle starts working. Everybody's eyes are glued onto the monitor. Measurements are within range, Michelle reports after a while. Heart and other organs are normal. Everything seems fine. Just like last week. And? Axel asks eagerly as his grip on my hand tightens. And it looks like a boy, she chuckles. I knew it. Axel exclaims as he bends over and kisses me. Well done, son, Grant pats Axel on the back and looks proudly at me. You too, Liana. I'm just happy the baby is fine, Carol sniffs. And I'll buy more blue wool. Okay, everybody out, Michelle says friendly, but firmly. Gunter would be a good name, Grant says to Drew as they leave. Strong and manly. No, Drew huffs. It sounds like a German rifle. Now Andri is a solid choice. Grandfathers, Michelle sighs as she turns back to me. They're all the same. How are you doing, Liana? Honestly, I feel great, I smile as I hold out my arm for her to draw blood. I don't even have morning sickness, fatigue, or heartburn. That's excellent, she smiles. You made quite a turnaround and, what's wrong? Axel asks and instantly, my heart is in my throat. Nothing, she frowns and holds up the needle. It broke. There's not even a mark on her skin. I will contact the supplier, this must be a defect. Has that ever happened before? Axel frowns. Only with wolves, but, abruptly she goes quiet before she looks at us with a bright smile. It must be the blood transfusions. It's working so well that Liana's skin is now the same density as a wolf's. Regular needles won't work on her anymore. Is that a bad thing? I ask nervously. Not at all, she smiles as she takes out a bigger needle. With wide eyes I watch her insert it in my arm without any problems. That didn't even hurt, I whisper in surprise. Am I turning into a wolf? That I don't know, she shakes her head. Have you noticed your hearing and vision improving? Not that I'm aware of, I mumble. I'm going to run more tests, she replies. But if I'm correct, you're already a wolf. Whether or not you're going to be one after birth, remains to be seen. What about your research? Axel asks. The studies you read about the transfusions, doesn't that mention anything? In all the cases, the women remained human, she sighs. In fact, in all of the cases, this hasn't happened. If my suspicions are correct, this is a first. The rest of the audiobook will be continued in the next episode. Join us on Patreon for early access or more great audiobooks, a link is provided in the video description.